Hey there everybody, this is Lee with Creative2xmom and I'm back to share with you another video about reading. You guys know that I love to read and I host a meetup every month over at Creative2xmom about the books that we are reading every month. And even though it's December and it was crazy busy, I still wanted to find time to make sure that I read this month. So this particular video is part of a collaboration with Ingrid from Mommy and Mia Homeschool Chronicles, as well as April from The Simple Rugged Path. Like I said, December is crazy busy, and with kids and the holidays and Lydia's birthday, of course, I didn't find a whole lot of time to read, but I love to read. It's one of those things that recharges me even in the busyness of the holidays. So every December I try to find at least one fiction book that I can read. I know December is going to be busy. I'm not going to have a lot of brain space, power, energy to put into something really deep. So I try to fill my December with fiction. And that's exactly what I did this year. The first book that I read, it was called Circling the Sun. It was by Paula McLean, and I've already returned it to the library, so I'm going to insert a photo of that book right here. So that book followed the character of Burl Markham, and she is a young woman in Kenya in the 1920s, I believe. So it's got that historical element as well as the fiction. And I think that this story was loosely based on a historical figure. From what I was following and catching, I didn't really catch on to it till the end of the book. She was the first woman to fly over the Atlantic, I believe. That's part of her story. But it sounded like it was more historically based than I even realized. Now, it was one of those books that follows her adventures, she becomes a horse trainer, one of the first women horse trainers. She owns a farm with her husband. She becomes one of the first women pilots ever. She lives in England. She lives in Kenya. She has a mother who comes back into her life that abandoned her as a child. So it's this constant like moving from one crash adventure to another. It was one of those books that I just could not put down. This was almost a 400-page book in the month of December. I had no idea it was going to be that long when I planned to read this one. And you know me, once I got a plan, I stick with it. But it was a complete page turner. I think I read the book in like 2 weeks, which for a 400-page book, I was pretty excited about that one. It's not one of those books that I would pass off to my teenage daughter because, of course, we are talking about a young woman and there are a few scenes in the book with questionable morality. But I think if you've got the maturity to handle that, it is one that I would read again. And it's by Paula McLean. I think she wrote something, The Paris Wife, something like that. So I think I'm going to be looking into more of her books. Not my favorite author, but definitely a good page-turning story for those times when you just need fiction. And I think we all have those seasons of our life. The second book I read this month, I've also returned to the library, so I'm going to insert a photo. It was The Christmas Note by Donna, I don't even know how to say her last name, Van Leer. So let me insert a photo right here. So Hallmark actually took this book, made a movie out of it, hated the movie. I watched the movie when I was at my mom's over Christmas this year, and I was just like, oh, really? The acting was really flat. So if you've seen the movie, The Christmas Note, do not judge the book by that movie. Again, this was just a very lighthearted story to get me through the month of December. Nothing super deep. So I felt like it could have been developed into a better story. I mean, it wasn't my favorite by any means. But just to be thinking about the holidays, to be thinking about people. You've got two characters. You've got Gretchen and Melissa. They end up becoming neighbors. Melissa's mother was a very verbally abusive, unstable woman. And when she dies, it throws these two together. Gretchen really reaching out and trying to draw Melissa out of what you would become in that situation. I mean, she's very withdrawn, very closed off, doesn't talk to anybody, doesn't connect with anybody until she meets Gretchen, and Gretchen starts to kind of pull that out of her. Then come to find out, Melissa has missing siblings, and so they go on this journey of finding her siblings and the connections with people, the people that she had in her life as a child that she didn't realize what an impact they had on her life and how they really kind of saved her in her growing up years. So it's a good story. Like I said, it's not some great literary, it's not going to stand the test of time, but for a light December read, it was definitely well worth it. The third book that I read in December, I have here, yay, an actual physical book. The third book that I read in the month of December was A Simplified Life by Emily Ley. I've had no exposure to this author. However, all of a sudden her name is popping up all over YouTube that she has previous work to this. I know that she had a planner previous to this, but maybe there are other books. I don't know. I got this one to review, and I will link the blog post down below with my full review of the book. I have to say I didn't like it. Maybe I kind of liked it. I don't know. This is a $20 book, and to me, what Emily Ley had to say in this would have been like a $5 book. It just would have. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful hardcover. The pages are that nice, thick, glossy. The photos are stunning in here. There is room to journal and answer questions as you go along. But as far as the actual content of this book, which is what I was judging it off of, it was very basic. I didn't feel like there was a lot in here to help me at the stage of life that I'm in. Now, I would hand this off to my 24-year-old sister-in-law because there's information about budgeting, there's information about keeping a household, there's information about setting priorities that I feel would have been nice in my early 20s, would have been nice as I was starting out. But now in my mid-30s, it's kind of like, really? That's all you got for me in a $20 book? It just was not worth the money to me. I was glad that it was a review book. I would have taken it back had it been something that I purchased myself. So I think there's that kind of struggle between, depends upon your stage of life, but for me this just was not worth it. So those were the 3 books that I read in the month of December. Leave me a comment down below. I'm so excited for 2018. I've started writing in my planner already, planning out, because I try to set a goal of one specific book every month, and then whatever I get from there is fantastic. So I've already started putting in my planner kind of some of the books that I want to make a priority in 2018. If you guys haven't seen that video yet, I will link down below. The Mom on the Go planner. I am so excited about this one. You guys know that I'm a pretty basic planner, but I got this in the mail just before Christmas, and I'm so excited to use it this year. I feel like it's going to be a great tool and helping me stay organized in 2018. So I will link that review down for you below as well. I guess that could be one of my reads for the month of December. So leave me a comment. Like I said, I'm always looking for new books. I'm always looking for new authors, and I would love to know what you guys are reading as well. I hope you enjoyed this one. Check out the playlist down below so that you can check out all the collaborators and what they read throughout the month of December, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.